Awesome. We've started the recording, Lisa.
Good.
Hello.
Hello there.
How
Welcome
are you?
everybody to April 19th, 2020.
That is our day today. Happy Sunday for us on the 19th. I'm Roshanair Madeline, and I'm speaking again. We're talking together, Lisa DeLong, and we promised last week that we would talk about our dragons. And so Lisa's got the dragon there behind her, and I've got my dragon shirt on. This is our dragon we call Moncrief.
That's right.
So if you're not familiar with the dragons yet, just get yourself a cup of something and sit down and watch us for a little bit. We're going to be talking about our experience with dragons.
There you go.
Okay, Lisa, I'm going to let you have it for a while, because this is back when we first met and all kind of stuff. My first encounter with dragons was with Lisa, by the way, that I was conscious of for sure.
That's right. Yes. That was back in 2012. Madeline was working at the Metaphysical Fair in her booth, and I was working in another beautiful lady's booth that sold stones and crystals, and she made beautiful, beautiful jewelry out of it. Holly Larson with her Earth Spirit Studio. And that's when we really officially met. I'd seen Madeline numbers of times at the fairs, and we never had the soul connection didn't happen until 2012.
Yes.
Yes. And so then
big time. It happened big time.
That's right. Yes. So after the fair, a lot of the readers in that, they go out to dinner. So we all went out to dinner to this big buffet place. And that's where Madeline and I got a little bit more connected. And we were talking about my dragons that showed up to me when I was working with my healing with another energy healer. And I thought the dragon belonged to this other healer. And he said, no, this is not my dragon. It must be yours. And so then I started working with this beautiful, beautiful white dragon. And she had a lot of Merlin energy to her. So I could not say her dragon name. Unfortunately, our human tongues cannot say their names. So she allowed me to call her Merlin just because of the energy with it.
Yeah.
And, yes. And then I started working with it. Well, it turned out Merlin had 3 eggs in Middle Earth that were hatching. And I had already been with her for 2 hatchings when I met Madeline. And the third egg hatching was coming up. The third egg's hatching was coming up on December 21st, 2012. And that was
cool.
That's right. What did you say, Madeline?
I said, that's pretty cool. But before you get to the hatching, I'll be sure I want to go over how I first found out it was Merlin. Remember? Do you remember that? We were standing in the booth together.
Okay, go ahead and share that. Yes, go ahead and share that.
We were standing in the booth together, and I didn't even know about it, and I felt this huge energy come, just, it was more like waving through. It was just like, it wasn't even flying through. It was just a huge energy going through, like, whoosh, this massive energy. And I was telling Lisa, I went, oh my gosh, what is that? Because it has to be massive sometimes, especially in the beginning, for me to notice or pay attention, because I just do my thing, you know? And this energy went, and I went, oh my gosh, what is that? And Lisa said, well, I don't know. What is it? What did you think it was? What did you feel like it was? Did you ask? And I'm like, ah. So I was standing there quietly trying to figure out what that energy was, and it didn't go away. And I said, well, that's strange, because the only thing I'm getting is the name Merlin. And Merlin doesn't show to me like that. Merlin comes to me with a tickling my nose, you know, and then I have to channel Merlin. And she just grinned. And she said, well, Merlin is the name of my dragon. And I went, oh, well, that explains that energy. Oh my gosh. So I felt it. And then she had to clue me in as to what it was. So, okay, now Lisa, do about the hatching.
So I had been sharing the stories about how I was introduced to my dragon, helping me with a very, very dark energy that had attached itself to me. And that's when I discovered that dragon, assumed it was the other energy healer's dragon, and it wasn't. So Merlin helped me clear this dark energy that had found me. And it was a good experience because I learned how to protect myself in another phase of my again, experiences. So anyway, so Merlin likes to follow me around and again, just let everybody know of her presence. And then I tend to explain it to them as this dragon energy. And as I was talking to Madeline, I says, I've been to 2 wonderful hatchings with the 3 eggs that she presented me back in when I first met her. And that was 2010. And I had gone to these in Middle Earth. And Madeline said, wow, that really sounds interesting. I'd like to know more. And I says, well, the next hatching is coming up, so why don't you join me? And she says, I'm not really sure how to do that. And I says, well, we're just going to go travel to Middle Earth and we'll join the celebration of this hatching of the 3rd egg.
At night when we sleep.
That's right, when we sleep. So again, it's an astral travel basically. And she joined me, and we went down there and we joined the celebration and we watched the hatching. Very interesting, you know. The egg was brought out and put in the middle where a gold light was shining down on it. And basically, it didn't hatch out of the egg. The egg just started transmuting and everything, and just was absorbed into the figure that was inside of it. And again, the dragon appeared. So it wasn't like an egg actually cracked open and the baby came out. This hatching,
no, and it was real sparkling. It was like
very sparkly. Yes.
It was metamorphosing kind of and sparkling. It was just
and it just waving.
Just gorgeous.
It was absolutely gorgeous. So then after the hatching, the big celebration started, and each individual who wanted to could go and meet the baby dragon, and was welcomed by the other 2 siblings there that were 1 and 2 years old in our terms, you see, and then actually could meet Merlin there herself.
And they had different names too. I can't remember what the names were. They had different colors and different names, but I don't remember.
Well, the last hatchling was white and purple. Yeah. So
something like Liberty or something like
Illuminati. Illuminous. She was illuminating our consciousness. And then we had and then we had Wisdom was hatched the year earlier, and the other one, her name was Believe, you know, again, that knowingness, okay, believing in the knowingness that you're on your path. And then Wisdom, your wisdom.
And Illuminate is the other one.
That's correct. And so again, illuminate, allow yourself to be who you are. Let this dragon help you with that, because that's your path. Okay, that is the path. So
they're grown now, all 3 of them.
They are. Didn't take long for that to happen. So anyway, so but you know, again, it was just so wonderful to be there. And what was very interesting is that in Middle Earth, in the lair where the eggs were, had its own smell, and the whole area, the Great Hall, so to speak, but actually it was more of like this beautiful crystal cave that we were in for the hatching, had its own smell as well. Okay, different smells. And I was when Madeline and I came back from our excursion with this, and we were talking about it the next day, I told her, I says, there's did you smell how it smelled down there? Because this was the first time that this intuitive gift showed up, the gift of smell. Okay.
Wow.
And she says, I don't really recall. And I says, I have a feeling that you will recall, right? Because we talked about it, you know. But again, we were just coming back. It was the very next day. We were down there for 3 days. It's, you know, but we in that non-linear time, it was a 3-day celebration for this birthing.
Yeah, they partied.
Yeah, so do we. So
Yeah.
and but again, as you know, as we become more conscious and we bring more of what we experienced in that Middle Earth realm, it was very interesting. And Madeline started to get the idea, right? And did I ask you to create an essence?
No,
Oh,
no. I came back to my studio with all my essences, and I was inspired, and I heard you need to put this together, and you need to call it this. And then you need to put this together, and you need to call it this.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So the next time I saw Lisa, I brought my 2 new essence combination things that I put together with the guidance. The first one was Mystic Dragon, and then the second one was Dragon's Breath.
Mm-hmm.
So Lisa, of course, was my guinea pig.
Yes.
I said,
Oh.
put this on, Lisa. Let me put this on. You smell it and tell me what you think about it. So for Mystic Dragon, she had a really good resonance with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then for Dragon's Breath, she had a really good resonance with it. And then I had to rub them together because the essences are pure. So you can blend them all together. And then her reaction to it was even different. So tell them what you felt.
So when I put the essences on me and I actually smelled them and held the vibration of the vial in my hand, I was immediately connected back to Middle Earth. And I said, oh my gosh, Madeline, I can't believe this. This smells just like the dragon lair. Just like the dragon lair where the baby, the dragon eggs were and the babies were living. And then when I smelled the other one, it was like, this is what the Middle Earth crystal cavern smells like. And I just was so ecstatic because she created the smells, the essence of the smells. And that has been so delightful because how do you explain something? How does something smell that no one else is going to go and experience? But when you do this, and I tell you that this is Middle Earth Dragon Lair essence, you can go there immediately. And that's what was so fun about it. Just really.
And then when you blended the 2 together,
I mean, my gosh, yes.
Just really, you just were there.
Yep, exactly.
And since then, I've had my dragon show up. And y'all may laugh all you want to, but I love my dragon. It's huge, heavy, big, pink dragon. And my dragon's name is Puff. And I saw Puff show up, stepped out of my realm when I was in meditation. I could see Puff like moving forward. And Puff was so funny because Puff is like the big cartoon Puff the Magic Dragon, the big bellowy belly and heavy. And Puff was walking sideways. I could see Puff and turned its head to me and just smiled and put its foot down on the ground. And when Puff put its foot down on the ground, the whole ground just shook. And all these sparkles went off everywhere. And Puff didn't talk with his mouth. His mind to me thought, this is the power of love. And then just stomped again and another big sparkle and a ground shake. It was beautiful. I'm like, okay, so I have Puff as one of my dragons and I'm excited. And since then, they've had me create a whole dragon line. I have Dragon Love or Dragon Heart, same, which came in with Puff. And then they've had me do Air Dragon, Water Dragon, Fire Dragon, Earth Dragon. And then we, of course, have Master Galactic Dragon, which will explain that in just a little bit. And then one more showed up, and it told me it wanted this, and this. And I said, okay, well, what do I call this one? And I heard White Dragon. And I said, well, White Dragon, you may just call it, I'll call this White Dragon. And I was corrected. I'm like, well, what White Dragon? And he's like, the White Dragon. And I'm like, okay, pardon me. I will put you as the White Dragon. Right. So those are the essences I have now as the line grew, but then so did our connection with the dragons with Master Galactic Dragon, our red dragon we have on. So Lisa, talk to them about our friend.
Okay. So
our power friend.
That's right. Yeah. So then when Madeline brought these essences back in, that was in March at the Metaphysical Fair here in Denver. And then she came back in the fall, and I do believe it was in the fall, right?
I think it feels like it was in the fall.
It was in the fall. And she was staying with a client down there. And the client asked me to come in and work with her cat. So I was helping her understand her cat a little differently. And confirming that she had a really good connection with this cat, and she was really hearing his voice, and she really was totally they were totally connected as soulmates. So so then anyway, she had shared with us another experience that she had when she went to visit the haunted mansion down there in Manitou Springs. And she said that she had seen this dragon in the mansions as she was on this tour. And she wanted to follow the dragon, and the tour guide was being adamant that she stay with the group. So lo and behold, she managed to get herself a little bit away from the group, and she was able to encounter the dragon again. And she had an interfacing with this dragon, and she felt that it was really, really sad, and it needed some kind of help and guidance, but she didn't know what to do. And she had done this during the summer, so here it is the fall, and she's bringing that information to me. So I connected with the dragon when we were just sitting there in the fall, and I said, why don't you bring yourself forward and talk with me? And so we were talking with this dragon. It turned out he was very sad. He has been trapped in this 3D realm in this haunted mansion because he thought it was fun to scare people. And unfortunately, he was trapped. There was no way for him to be released from that, because it was, what would you say it was, Madeline?
Well, he was young, and he was playing in the beginning. He thought it was fun.
Yes.
And then he found out it wasn't so much fun, and then he didn't want to do that anymore. But then he was basically confined to that area, and he had to stay there, and he was not allowed to be released. That was his job now, to stay there and be part of the hauntings of the place and be vicious. And his heart wasn't in it, and he was so sad. And he'd been there for years and years and years. He was stuck there from the previous owners and the previous owners. And so Lisa really talked with him and worked with him and coaxed him to come a little more forward. So he actually allowed us to help him.
Right.
So how did we help him, Lisa?
Exactly. So what we did is we arranged to go to this mansion, and you can rent areas of the mansion for workshops in that. So we developed our scheme of going in there as potential clients to rent the space for some work that we wanted to do.
Mhm.
So when we got there, it was very interesting. The three of us went up to the door, and we had all brought stuff that we needed. I had to come back down to Colorado Springs, and I brought with me the tools that we needed to create movement for Moncrief. And Madeline had hers with her, and our client had hers with her. And so we all brought our tools, and we go into the lobby, and we're approached by the curator, who is a very charming, handsome, silver-haired, blue-eyed, tall man. Very charming.
Mhm.
And we're talking to him. Madeline's being very business-like. I want to consider renting this space to do these workshops, etc. And could you let us look
Wanna
around?
look around.
Yes. And we were very fortunate that we were just right at the same time as some other people that had scheduled an appointment with him. So he excused himself from our guided tour to go on the other guided tour with the other people that had made an appointment. Well, while
Oh
we
my
were
gosh,
standing there,
he left us on our own.
yes, exactly.
Word to the wise.
Yes.
Don't leave us on our own.
Exactly. But it was just perfect. So
It was.
as we're standing in the office and we're talking about some things, we're explaining that we can feel the energies that are in the presence, and this door
Mhm.
opened for us all by itself.
Yes,
And
it did.
you remember that door? Yeah.
Yes.
And it even
Remember the
made the
guy
ice
who was
burn. Yeah, exactly. Right behind him, right? You know.
like,
And he's trying to disregard it, you know, but it's like we all know, we all know.
uh-huh.
They're all coming to see us. It was like, hey, looky, we got some bright lights here. Let's go take a look at them. So anyway, so this very handsome gentleman excused himself from our presence and said we could go ahead and walk around and see what areas of the property would work out for what we wanted to do.
Yeah, we found it.
Yeah, so we wandered around until we found the perfect place to set up and create a vortex. And I had brought my spiral star wand that I got from Gregory Hogue, and to create the frequency-based portal that we were going to need to help Moncrief move through this. And he told us his name back before we went to encounter him. He told us what his name was.
Moncrief. He's a big red dragon.
Right.
Until then, we just called him the red dragon.
That's
but
right.
His name is Moncrief, which is what I named this Master Galactic Dragon off of, is Moncrief. It's for Moncrief.
That's
okay,
right.
Sorry.
No problem. Thanks for filling in. So we created the vortex, and what we found was that a lot of other Native Americans, a lot of the animals that were in the area, because we were near the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, and a lot of the native animals in that also wanted to go ahead and move through the portal to find their new existence in a different plane at a different frequency. So we were allowing all of that to happen. And then we had to...
Lots of energies came
very
across.
much, lots of
we were holding that space open, that portal open. There was so much. There were peacocks. There were all kind of animals and little beings and big Indian being spirits. They just all kept going through to the portal of the light, going back to where they needed to go. And so Moncrief gently, gingerly, afraid, kind of showed up.
Right. He kept on standing on the outside of us. And
we were doing it for Moncrief.
Exactly. And we had so many archangels and angels helping us at the time too. They were trying to create a way for him to step up and to go ahead and allow this to happen for him, but he was very fearful. He was very afraid that he had done the wrong thing.
He felt like he didn't deserve it.
Right. He didn't deserve to move on because he had been scaring people for years, and he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have, disregarded what he was advised not to do, because then he got trapped. And then he didn't know if he was going to have any family left, because so much time had passed in our lineal time that he wasn't
And
sure.
they would hate him. He was afraid they would hate him.
Right, or he would be
Mhm.
punished.
Yes.
And it was amazing, because while we were creating this new portal, we shut down the other portal and we started creating the new portal for him. We were experiencing all these dragons coming from everywhere. There were dragons coming out of Middle Earth. There was dragons coming from that other realms. They were coming from the universe. All these dragons were showing up. And that really made Moncrief nervous. It really made
Yeah.
me nervous. And
But I remember Lisa Moncrief was crying. Lisa had her hands out this big, like big, and she was holding onto his face, talking to his face, telling him that it was love waiting for him. And that is, we were all crying. And it was just so beautiful to watch Lisa with this conversation with Moncrief and letting him know it was safe and he needed to go back. And he was so grateful. It was just so moving. And granted, this is all in an invisible 3D reality, but it's not invisible. You can feel it, you can sense it, you can see it. And Lisa finally got through to Moncrief. Yes, and Moncrief went through the portal, remember?
Yes, I do. And then it was just, all the dragons were celebrating him. They were showing him all this love. They had congratulated him that he'd done such a good job of scaring humans all that time. And that they were welcoming him back into the realm because he had a bigger job to do than just scare people. So again, total different than what Moncrief expected to happen to him. And again, that warm, inviting, loving reception that he got from all the dragons. We were literally bawling tears of joy for him.
Yes.
It was
and
amazing.
He said, remember when he said he went through, but then he came back and he said, I will always be here for you for whatever you need.
That's
you
right.
will see me. Remember?
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
And on our drive home, what did we see all across the west face of the mountains there of the Rockies?
It was that beautiful dragon cloud. There was a long cloud that was a dragon shape. And I got pictures of it. I still have my pictures of that. But it was definitely a dragon. Yep. So
took over the whole view of the mountains there.
It did.
Oh, look, there's Moncrief.
Yes.
There's Moncrief.
I know, and it had to be over a mile long.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
And Moncrief now shows up for us. When we need something, sometimes we don't even have to call him. We just feel his energy and he's here. Because he's like right on it. Exactly. Okay, thank you, Moncrief. And he's from, I know in some of these books they talk about they go to the 9th dimension, but Moncrief is from a dimension beyond the 9th dimension.
He is, and that's why it was so critical for him to come back into the realm of the dragons, so that he could fulfill his role there. So
he's a leader. They needed him back.
Exactly. Yeah, they did, absolutely. And what was really interesting was when Madeline sat down to be guided to create his essence. That was wonderful.
I don't remember that. I was in a different space, I think. What happened? Do you remember? Or just that I did it?
You just did it, and it was another one of those very, what's a good word for it? It was channeled. That's why I think you don't remember it, because it came through from the dragon realm and you put it together. So,
and it just came together on its very own.
Exactly. And then I was
And
so
he did
excited when you
know
said
the
you had that essence. So
And he
you know
said,
what I remember? I remember now.
what?
We were at my house when it was created. Were we at
We
my
were.
dining room table?
I think so.
That's
For
why.
monk.
Yeah.
And he said you can call it Master Galactic Dragon,
Mm-hmm.
but for you, for us,
Mm-hmm.
I'm Moncrief.
That's right.
And for anyone you want to share me with personally,
Mm-hmm.
I'm Moncrief.
Yes.
But
Mm-hmm.
for anyone else that doesn't know my story,
Mm-hmm.
they get Master Galactic Dragon, which
That's
is
right.
me, Moncrief.
That's right. Yes.
Like,
Exactly.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
that works very
Yeah.
well.
And I think we'll remember. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I think we'll remember some other tidbits of this story too. But the one thing that I know is that when we share Moncrief's story with everyone, he will show up for you in a very time of need. When you are energetically being assaulted, or you are overwhelmed, he will be there because you have heard his story.
Yes.
And sometimes
So
he shows up as blue. Okay, so don't be misguided if he shows up as blue, because blue is easier for us than red. We've been scared by the red colors, but he will show up blue and then turn red for you. So.
But he does have this lion-looking face. He doesn't have this traditional-looking dragon face, like this long face. He's got this lion-looking face, like what's on our shirts.
That's right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Wow.
So again, ask him for assistance. He has sat on top of my house while I've been away. He's rode on our vehicles while we go through energetic ley lines that aren't agreeing with us. Mm-hmm. And he's helped us do some other very, very valuable transmutations in other realms, or even if from our 3D realm into a fourth and a fifth dimensional realm. He's helped us greatly by just putting up the protection energy.
In this 3D realm, I had a client that called me one night late, and she was scared. And she and her child, she had him hiding underneath the cover with a knife. She was energetically being attacked, and she was upset and wanted me to come over. And I couldn't go. And so I sent my energy over. But before I sent my energy over, I told her I'm going to call in Moncrief and have Moncrief come over and keep an eye on her and take care of it. And it wasn't but a minute later, and she's on the phone, she said, there's a big red dragon here. And I'm like, say hello to Moncrief.
Yeah.
He's going to take care of things. And he's telling me he's going to be hanging with you for about 3 days till you feel better. You can put the knife away now before you hurt yourself. Like, okay, there really is a big red dragon here. He's like in my room and on my roof, and he's huge. And I'm like, yes. She said, okay, I feel much better. I can sleep now. It's like, okay, thank you, Moncrief.
Exactly.
It's really interesting how he shows up.
It is very.
And then I was telling Lisa not too long ago, I can't remember how far back because time doesn't mean anything to me. So I can't put dates on it. I can't put months on it. But I looked out my window here through my backyard, and I saw this big brown dragon just kind of softly wisping across. And I thought, brown dragon. I haven't seen a brown dragon before. So as Lisa and I were talking the other day, I realized I got the hit. It's an earth dragon. The brown dragon is an earth dragon, and the brown dragon is still here. And so I was going to show you, this is a picture of the brown dragon. And it says earth dragon, and look at the blue crystals that's there with it. And what it says, I have to get my glasses so we can read it right quick. Moncrief doesn't mind sharing with dragons.
Not at all.
The earth dragon clears your path and the land around you. Mostly it's about stay grounded, be ready to serve, stuck energy is clearing, and you can move forward in life. So one of the things that they're saying it does, whereas fourth dimensional earth dragons are brown, the color of the soil. They love the planet and the land itself. It was these sturdy dragons who helped to build the original dragon lines that we now call ley lines. Part of their service work is to travel along them to clear them when asked to do so. When we send an instruction to the earth dragons to work with the ley lines, they can power away under the surface to clear any blockages. This impacts hugely on people and situations in the vicinity. Can also help to ground us in our mission in this life, which is why when I was sensing in more about the earth dragon, I kept thinking, well, it's more than an earth dragon. It's a middle earth dragon. It's a middle earth dragon. Then it's like, well, yeah, if they work on the ley lines, they're kind of like a middle earth dragon, aren't they?
Exactly.
So I wanted to share, you can have, if your dragon hasn't showed up for you yet, we all have a dragon in more than one, actually. But it's time for them to start surfacing back to, they are helpmates for us, but they're more than helpmates for us. They basically help clear the way for us. They are, they're kind of like the arrow for us. They clear the path and we just stick with them. They do so much beautiful, amazing things for us as our dragons. They are happy and love us and are glad to be coming back. It's time for them to show up. I don't know if any of you have seen, there's a video that I've been sharing that I saw from Magenta Pixie, who I haven't seen her much before, but I liked her. And she talked a lot about the dragons. And I'm like, yay, someone else is talking about the dragons. I know it. She's got it. I love it. And they have a very, very important mission now with the earth on this part of its ascension, on this side of the ascension bell curve, I guess I want to say.
Right.
So I know you have something to share, Lisa.
And again, welcome any dragons in. The other clients that I have, they've discovered their dragons in very sorrowful times when they've lost a loved one or a beloved fur baby. The dragons have showed up for them. And so pay attention, you know, don't just brush it off as something that your imagination brought to you because you were in a grieving state. Know that your dragon showed up because you needed to be lifted up and loved in that time of need. So, and I love it. I just had a client lose a horse, and she says, this is so strange. I've been grieving for 2 days now, but this purple dragon keeps showing up. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you shared that with me, because again, she was being lifted up and held by this dragon and coddled and swung so that she could feel comforted, knowing that her beloved horse has gone to a better place. And then so now she's investigating her life with the purple dragon. So,
nice.
It is very nice.
Yeah, they are big helpmates for us, and
they are.
And we need them, and they need us.
That's right.
It's that's all that's to it. We are here for each other, and there are thousands and thousands and thousands of dragons that are showing up. And when you're ready to just be open to it and notice it, your dragon will be there for you and will actually give you the name. Yes. And what I do a lot of times when I hear a name that I can't exactly get what it is, I just ask them to spell it for me.
Yeah,
exactly. And then we go through the spelling little by little, but like I got the spelling for my car, with a spirit for my car, which was an angel, Agapanthea. And I'm like, I don't know what is that? And they spelled the whole thing out. And I'm like, okay, got Agapanthea. So, and the same with when I got my spiritual name, when Ra gave me my spiritual name. He kept saying something. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. So they spelt it. And I went, oh, okay, got it. So they'll help you if you hang with them and say, would you please spell that? And then ask them to spell it for you in the language that you understand, like English. Don't ask them to spell it for you in French or Greek or whatever. Just please spell that to me in English.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because they're very, very wise.
Exactly.
They have it all.
Exactly.
So you have something about another dragon you wanted to share.
That's right. When Madeline was going through her dragon deck, I went through mine. It's the same deck, and the card that came up for me was the Black Dragon from Saturn.
Wow. Isn't he beautiful? Sitting on the rings of Saturn there.
So, yes, exactly. So, bring your wisdom through spiritual discipline. Concentrate, focus on your ultimate vision. Congratulate yourself. You have passed a test.
Yay!
Very good. And then I loved what it said in the book. So I'll share that with you too. Because it's something that, again, it's showing up again. It keeps repeating with our conversations between Madeline and I that we're sharing with you. Okay. It says the Black Dragon cocoons you so that your divine potential grows. So meditate on that and undergo a metamorphosis. It's about the fifth dimensional black dragons are powerful. They only come to us when we are ready to nurture a new idea or concept that will enable our divine potential to grow. Black is the ultimate divine feminine color, the shade of mystery and magic, of secrets and hidden hopes. Okay, good. When we are prepared to surrender to the black dragons, they will cocoon us in a silky black energy. And as we rest within this safe, dark place, they will enable the new to develop within us. Eventually, we will emerge like a butterfly, having undergone profound metamorphosis.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And that explains, I think, really, Lisa, why this white Omega dragon is sitting here. That I didn't think we were going to use. But see in her heart center there?
Yes.
It's a black spiral egg of everything that there is, surrounded by this white dragon, the Omega dragon. And this one says it's harnessing the divine feminine power of creation. It's about intention, hold your vision, birth to higher consciousness. So this white one and the black one go together.
They do.
It's not beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's what we wanted to share, our story with our dragons.
Exactly. Again, some crystals and stones that go very well with bringing in your dragon energy, you know. Amethyst is a really key tool because, again, it helps you create a space that the dragons can come and enter very safely as well. And it offers up the invitation, which is very
yes. And I'm hearing rose quartz also.
Rose quartz, yes. And then I wear my Merlinite. My Merlinite is connected to all my dragons, which is called Salamaline, is the other name of Merlinite. So, and this is a beautiful piece that Holly Larson gifted to me after she told me I wasn't advanced enough to wear Merlinite. And then I had to prove to her that I wouldn't
you could handle it.
Yes, exactly, if I wasn't quite ready. But I love it. I love this gorgeous piece. It's like an opening to a veil. I should take it off so you can see this closer. But it's smooth, so it's kind of like a druzy. It's a druzy piece, and inside, when you look through the veiled part, of course now I can't get it off, right?
It's okay.
Yeah.
Inside, when you look through the veiled part.
It's like this. So you have this cupping, and when you look inside, you can see the universal energies that are coming through.
Like this.
Yes. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Lisa. Oh,
There we go. So let's see if the camera can do it any justice. So you can see all the tiny crystals in there.
you can. It's gorgeous.
Right, and then you can see the bigger white pieces of quartz in there. And one is really lucky it's round, you know, so it has the symbol itself. Yeah, and that
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That looks good.
Yeah, and that is, again, the merlinite, the Solomaline is the stone name.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely beautiful. I love to wear it when I'm doing my work.
I have a piece of merlinite. I enjoy wearing it when I wear it.
Yeah.
I usually wear my lapis, my Isis energy.
Yeah.
So other than using the essences, the power of these essences will connect you big time with your dragons too.
Mm-hmm.
The stones will, but also just your intention. Just if you feel like you're ready, just put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Say, I kind of would like to see you and work with you. And I have several clients that keep me posted on their dragons all the time. Some of them have big dragons, some of them have big dragons and baby dragons too. So it's kind of like they come in all shapes, all sizes, all looks. They're not all this long faced with these things like this. They're just all so different. Because look at Moncrief. He's totally different.
Lion-faced dragon, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sharing with someone too not too long ago about watching the movies How to Train Your Dragon, because there are so many kinds of different dragons in that movie. And it's like, yay, they're finally showing that there's more than just the dragon image that we conjure up that has fire coming out of it, or we watched on the Lord of the Rings or whatever, you know. So
yeah, the one style.
Yes, exactly.
So
No.
I think we've done what we're supposed to do. We finally got this video done. We had little issues this morning, so we're doing it a little later, but we've got it done. Yes, Lisa?
Absolutely. So again, invite your dragons in. If you're drawn towards a replica of a dragon, you know, like for instance, a pendant or a stuffed animal, just go ahead and get it, because something is guiding you and you need to have that little reminder that you are connected to dragons, even if you don't remember it at this time.
Or you may find a statue of a dragon that you like,
So,
or a stone in the
again,
yard
since
that looks like a dragon.
yeah.
So Lisa, before we go, I'm remembering one other thing I want to talk to you about, because I have a lot of that have been watching our videos that are doing the Pleiadian codes. But I also remember that at one point you made comment that when we change our frequencies, we need to be mindful of our animals in our household. So when we change our frequencies with bringing in the dragons too, we need to, will you talk to them about how to be mindful of the animals in their household and the other people in their household? Because as you change your frequency, they're not always aligned, and there can be a little bit of...
That's right. And so what we discovered is that we don't want to create such a gap between the frequency of the household, because it's disharmonious. There we go. And so therefore, when you do the codes and you change, you want your frequency to be in alignment, you change everything in your whole world. So do that. Change the frequency, knowing that you need your car to be the same frequency as you. Okay, that your home has to be elevated in frequency, that all your pets have to be elevated in the frequency as well. And as you just have that intention, it shall be. You don't have to do anything else. Okay, it's just that everyone shall enjoy the protection of the codes, and the frequency changes will be made by all. Everything
easily, effortlessly.
That's right.
Smoothly.
Exactly. And again, you might think it's funny because I say your car or your truck, but you need that vehicle to be at your frequency, because that's your capsule of protection as you move through space and time. So it also needs to be at your frequency so that it will, again, bounce off that energies that are coming to do damage or and interfere with your path. So
And
none of us
also
need to
this,
be in a car accident, you know.
well, it's making me think about our electronics, our computers, and our cell phones too, and our iPads.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
When we switch what's going on with us, our electronic equipment
Mm-hmm.
can decide to not play nice.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So that's what I probably need to do for some things that's happening in this household.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay, word to the wise, duh.
Exactly. So,
Okay,
and
everybody.
I've been reminded too of something that I wanted to advise everybody earlier this week. Okay.
Okay.
I have people coming in. I'm still working in a retail environment because we're an essential store. We sell pet food and the like. And gal came in and said she keeps wrapping herself up in a yellow bubble of pure light to protect herself from this virus. And I shared with her that I take it to a different level. I ask every one of my cells in my body to not allow any other energy to enter it. Cell by cell by cell, I am protecting my body from exposure because my cells are choosing not to allow a different frequency, a different energy to be inside of it. So I'm shielded. So go farther, go to that minute little thing, that cellular structure, and invite it to be on this healing with you to prevent the coronavirus to get you. Again,
That ought to take care of it.
it does, because again, you're asking every cell to do its job. Don't change. Don't allow it to be affected by something that could damage it. You see?
Change for the pure health of what your body needs. If it's going
Exactly.
to change,
Mm-hmm. Right.
it's going to resonate and vibrate and shift energetically
Exactly.
into the healthiness that your human form needs.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Nice.
And again, you know, they have a lot of information for us, and a lot of it makes us feel like dumbed down, brain dead, dumbed down, numb. Again, don't let it go there. Get outside, hug a tree, let's sit in the grass, get back grounded again. Don't let the stuff that's coming through the TV or your screens interfere with your keeping healthy. Okay. You are in control of your body.
Sunshine.
That's right. Don't let any other mind control get you to where you are having issues. Okay. You know, so if it, I love this. You bring up putting the protection on, putting the oud on. Again, I'm back to myself. I got my third eye back open again. I'm not worried. I don't have that closed mentality that I got to just sit at home and not do anything. You know, I can be active.
That's true. You can be active because
Yeah,
all of your cells are on the job.
That's
just
right.
like all your dragons are on the job.
Exactly. So
wonderful.
So share this with others. Share. Okay, just like you share the codes, share the fact that you can at a cellular level, make sure that you don't get involved with the COVID-19. You know.
Yes.
Simple. Very simple.
Yeah. And it works. It works. It's all what you think about, what you intend is what you bring about. That's how it works.
Exactly.
So we love you all.
We have to play the game, but
thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
This was awesome. We got it done and I'm excited.
Yeah.
So
enjoy it.
Moncrief doesn't go away. We've called him forward, so he's going to be around. So be looking for him.
We would love to hear your story of how Moncrief came to your aid.
Yeah. Or if you noticed your dragons, or if you noticed what you thought was dragons and you didn't realize it's your dragon showing up for you. And yes, that's the dragon and that's your dragon. So ask the dragon, what is your name? What do you want me to call you? And if you can't, if you just sense it, if you just have a knowing and you don't have the psychic sight, I always have just a knowing. So in the knowing, ask, what color are you? Show me, and you'll get it. You'll hear it. What's your name? What do you want me to do? What's the best thing for us to do together? And usually they're just standing around. They're guards. They're really waiting. They'll take you at night when you sleep and you'll go do your work. You don't always remember that. You can ask for that too. Help me remember what the work I did when I was out of my body at night. So it's interesting. Fun times we're in, fun world we live in. Make it even more fun. Make it funner.
And look at this. We brought Moncrief into 2020 for everyone. From 2013 to 2020.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
So we love you,
Thank
everybody.
You. Love you.
Thank you. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay.
Bye for now. Bye.